The Baltimore City police officer shot in the head dies.
We will find the person responsible for this ridiculous, absurd, unnecessary loss of life.
The massive effort to track down a murderer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Mary Bubala. Major heartbreak across our city tonight. The detective shot in the head in West Baltimore yesterday has died. Detective Sean Souter was investigating another homicide when he approached a suspect who opened fire on him. The 18-year veteran was married and had 5 children. Tonight, the gunman remains on the run. WJZ is live with extensive coverage. Rick Ritter on the growing violence in our city. Avajoy Burnett on the officer and his family. But first, WJZ investigator Mike Halgren updates this very active investigation. Mike?
It certainly is, Mary. This is the first police officer to be shot and killed in the line of duty in a decade here in Baltimore. And police have cordoned off some of these areas. They remain active here right now. Let's take a look. About a block from where I'm standing is where this all unfolded. We just heard from the governor, who says he is heartbroken. He says that it's difficult to express the sadness and anger that comes over such a cruel and senseless act of violence. For the first time in his tenure as commissioner, Kevin Davis announced the death of an officer in his department.
Just after noon today, 18-year veteran homicide detective Sean Souter was pronounced dead. 43 years old, married, father of 5.
Homicide detective Sean Souter was shot in the head while doing a follow-up investigation to a murder in one of West Baltimore's most violent blocks on Wednesday afternoon.
We will find the person responsible for this ridiculous, absurd, unnecessary loss of life. The shooter knows what he did, and he knows who he did it to. A Baltimore police detective.
The shooter remains on the loose with a large police presence at the scene. Authorities believe he may have been wounded in the attack.
We're asking this shooter to do the right thing. He knows what he did. He knows he shot and killed a cop. Do the right thing. Call 911. Go to a hospital. Go to a church. Go anywhere. Turn yourself in.
The reward is now at $69,000 for information leading to the killer's arrest.
We need to stop the violence. But I also ask the city to pray for our police officers, because I said this earlier today, that when they leave their homes, their families' hearts go out the door with them. No one can anticipate this kind of thing happening, but every life lost in this city to violence or any other issue is a life lost for Baltimore City.
The police union said in a statement this has not broken their collective spirit, and officers will continue to be on the streets doing the job that Detective Souter so loved. The commissioner tonight also says it is not clear whether the suspect and detective had any words before their brief encounter that resulted in the detective's death. Live on the scene in West Baltimore, Mike Halgren, WJZ.
Mike, thank you. Let's go now to Avajoy Burnett live with more on the detective, Sean Souter, and the efforts made to save his life. Avajoy.
Vic, good afternoon. Today we learned that Detective Souter was a father of 5 and a family man. In fact, relatives traveled all the way from Florida to be by his side. Tragedy within the ranks of the Baltimore Police Department. Detective Sean Souter died here at shock trauma about 18 hours after a gunman shot him in the head while he was on the job.
Detective Souter suffered a single gunshot wound to his head. Unfortunately, that wound was a fatal wound.
The 43-year-old wasn't only a veteran on the force, but he was also a former Navy officer. Mayor Catherine Pugh said he met his wife here in Baltimore. He leaves behind 5 children.
His wife, Nicole, we've had conversations early this morning as she has been talking about the great relationship that they have.
Commissioner Kevin Davis described Souter as a go-getter who was well known. Some of the same surgeons who tried to save his life also called him a friend.
And we consider the Baltimore City Police Department very much part of our family. We knew Detective Souter. He will be, in fact, sorely missed.
Now, the Fraternal Order of Police issued a statement that said, "We grieve this loss," and in the final words, they said, "Rest in peace, brother. We will take it from here. Live at Shock Trauma, Ava Joy Burnett for WJZ.
Incredibly sad, Ava Joy. Thank you. Rick Ritter is live at Baltimore Police City headquarters with more on the city violence issue, which the mayor even says is out of control. Rick?
Well, Mary, with murders, Baltimore is outpacing much larger cities like New York and Philadelphia. This neighborhood we're talking about tonight is notorious for gun violence. Those who live there tell me everyone knows about our area, but for all of the wrong reasons.
It's the trenches. Like, when we say it's the trenches out here, we don't mean that as a joke.
The area of Harlem Park is often called a war zone. Drugs, shootings, and murders. Why Detective Sean Souter was there in the first place.
I've been living around here since 14 years. Bennett Place has been indicted since before I moved around here.
Just months ago, 2 teens were killed, including 15-year-old Jeffrey Quick, whose friend asked WJZ to conceal her face.
That hurt. Like, that hurt.
More than a dozen people have been gunned down there in recent years.
It starts from up top before you can start, pointing fingers and blaming others that live in the actual communities here.
2017 could end up being Baltimore's deadliest period ever, with already more than 300 homicides. Even hit communities often thought to be immune from heavy crime, like Federal Hill.
This is worse, man, than Detroit in one way, and it's worse than Chicago.
And the Inner Harbor, where there's been vicious random attacks.
They just don't understand the pain, the terror, and the hurt that they cause.
Mayor Catherine Pugh has faced heavy criticism.
Anybody who thinks that I don't take this seriously or that this is not something alarming to me,
Firing back that it's the city's #1 priority.
I am deeply disturbed about the violence.
While the commissioner has pointed at judges with repeat offenders constantly getting out.
The reason why we know who they are is because we lock them up again and again and again.
Many are left wondering what it will take for Baltimore to come out on top.
We will continue this fight, and we will continue until we win it.
And the mayor acknowledged that the city is battling a shortage of police officers. She says they are moving that hiring process along as fast as they can, but the city might not feel the impact until next year. Mary.
All right, Rick, thank you. WJZ has the latest on the deadly shooting. 43-year-old Detective Sean Souter was shot and killed while investigating a homicide in the 900 block of Bennett Place in West Baltimore. He was an 18-year veteran of the Baltimore Police Department. Police say the suspect is still at large, and they are asking the community to contact them with any information on this suspect. There is a $69,000 reward for information. There are also multiple hotline numbers set up for information about the suspect. 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can reach City Homicide at 410-396-2100, 1-866-7-LOCKUP, or text tips to 443-902-4824. Stay with WJZ for updates.